Welcome to Bar Time Stories. I'm your host, Rashawn Hall. The first round's on me. As many of you may know, September is Hunger Action Month, and that is a month where organizations ask people to really focus on food scarcity in America and do their part. Now, that can be donating to a soup kitchen, volunteering your time at a food pantry, or just making a donation. So for this episode, we wanted to talk to a brand and people who really address that issue in the hospitality and spirit space. So I connected with Danny Lafuente. Danny is the CEO of Simple Vodka, and he and his partner Dan Maslow have created this brand all about celebrating and having a good time responsibly, but it's also about giving back in your own way. And they came up with the concept for Simple Vodka in, of all places, a bar, which Danny will talk a little bit more about. The basic concept behind Simple is that for every bottle of Simple sold, they donate 20 meals, which is just, an amazing thing. Take a listen and, as always, do your part whenever and wherever you can to, whether it's, helping food scarcity or many, many social ills out there, to do your part, because it's more about just having a good time. It's about drinking responsibly and giving back. Take a listen and enjoy. Cheers. So Danny, first off, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I guess let's start off talking a little bit about Simple and where the idea came from.
So Simple started as our solution to a large problem that we see in this country, and that's the issue of food insecurity. 1 out of 8 people in this country struggles to put food on their plate every day, and unfortunately the populations that it hits the most are the elderly and the disabled and of course children. I think the issue of food insecurity has only become more important in terms of public perception, especially with potential SNAP cuts that may be coming into play and affecting at least 3 million Americans and who knows how many more. And we feel in general that food insecurity really doesn't get the kind of attention that it deserves for how pervasive of a problem it is. So, first and foremost, we launched this company to draw awareness to the cause and meaningfully contribute back to it.
Okay. And why vodka? Obviously, spirits make total sense for a variety of reasons for people who are doing it for, let's say, for their own purposes to benefit their own pockets. Why was this the direction you guys went in for the brand?
Sure. So, we had developed a product thesis. We knew kind of what type of product we wanted to launch. We didn't want to change consumer behavior. We wanted to choose a product that was being consumed every day by a wide base of people to maximize the amount of reach we could have in terms of driving awareness about food insecurity. And we researched dozens of different product verticals and kind of ran it through our checklists and our customer discovery, and was actually going to be launching the company with table salt, just because it happened to check a lot of the same boxes. And my co-founder and I were reviewing quotes from salt manufacturers at a bar down in Miami, and we were having a couple of Moscow Mules, and other people were ordering vodka sodas and martinis and this cocktail and that cocktail. And really what we were looking for were products that were being consumed all the time but had lower than normal brand preference or customer association. So again, products that were happening every day, but people didn't really have a reason to choose a particular brand. And so it could have been the couple of Moscow Mules we had. We just had this aha moment, and we said, hey, would vodka work for this? And we kind of just ran it through our test and did a lot of customer discovery and stumbled upon a really interesting concept, which is this vice to virtue, taking something that has been tied to vice since it was invented, and be able to imbue it with purpose, give it meaning, beyond just, of course, having a good time. And that's really what one of our core tenets at Simple is. We don't think that doing good and having fun should be mutually exclusive, and there are ways to do that together. So that's why vodka.
Okay. And as much as this is a company that's doing a great amount of good, obviously it's still a quality product. So talk a little bit about how you all got to the what is in the bottle right now.
Yeah, so my co-founder and I don't come from the industry. We don't know the first thing about distilling any kind of spirit. And so the first thing we had to do was go find someone who can deliver a really great product. We spent about a year and a half running around all over the country looking for distillers that could not just make a really quality product, but could do it sustainably. That for us, we didn't want the good that we were doing to result in some sort of negative impact on the environment. So we really strive to be little to no impact in the environment. That starts with our production. Our facility is out in Idaho. Found a great distilling partner out there. We use wind and solar energy to offset our energy used in distillation. We harvest the potatoes the day we go to distill, so they're never sitting around, no chance to really collect bacteria, fresh ingredients. The water comes directly via an aquifer that runs below our plant. So similarly, the water is never being transported. It's not going through municipal pipes. It's not sitting around in plastic containers, going straight into our fractional, or the water goes straight into our distillation process with the potatoes, and that's it. Just potatoes and water, no added sugar, flavors, or preservatives. Just simple.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
In addition, we upcycle the byproduct of the potatoes into an animal feed and sell it back to the farms that we got, and of course do wastewater recycling. And what results is a really delicious product with a distinct taste, a vodka that is just as good in cocktails as it is sipping neat or on the rocks. Has a distinct sweetness because of the potatoes, despite the fact that we don't add sugar. But a really quality product that has been recognized with a double gold medal from the San Francisco World Spirits Competition in consecutive years.
Oh, congrats. So, and then once it's in the bottle and it's hitting stores, you all have this 20 meals per bottle concept. Tell me how you all got to that number of 20 meals per bottle, and kind of what the theory behind that is.
So, really, we were going after a one-for-one concept. And with a bottle of vodka, donating one meal didn't really feel like enough. It certainly is not enough to solve the problem, and even if we were donating 100 meals per bottle and had all the success of some of the larger companies, there would still be a hunger problem in this country. But ultimately, when we looked at our bottle, 750 milliliters, anywhere between 15 to 20 drinks, depending on how heavy-handed your bartender might be, that's where we kind of realized we wanted to do it at the drink serving level. Okay. So for every drink serving that we produce, not just sell, we donate a meal to different local and national hunger relief organizations. Everyone from the large Feeding America, Share Our Strength, No Kid Hungry, all the way down to individual food banks, pantries, and shelters in the markets that we operate.
Okay. And how on the on-premise basis, how does that? Can you explain a little bit how that works out?
It ranges, and as a small brand without really marketing a huge marketing budget, certainly not as sizable as a lot of our competitors. It's really the story that resonates with the retailers, and we're not interested in just getting into any bar or restaurant. We want to go into places that take care they take care of how they are perceived, and they curate their ingredients and they curate their cocktails, and it's a thoughtful process. So on premise, it ranges everything from happy hour specials, fight hunger happy hours, to a simple asterisk on the menu next to our cocktail. Takes you down to the bottom of the page and says, hey, for every one of these cocktails you consume, you're donating a meal to XYZ Food Bank. A subtle way, when people see an asterisk, they expect it to be something bad, right? And so this is really a brilliant asterisk, really happy asterisk, and one that has led to just increase vodka sales at the locations that do implement something like that.
That's great. So September is a very important month in the in terms of food scarcity and talking about it and bringing awareness to it. Tell me a little bit about that and how Simple is playing a role in that.
Yeah, so September is known as Hunger Action Month, and it's an opportunity for the organizations that are fighting hunger and food insecurity in America. Really gives them a platform and a soapbox from which to kind of voice the struggles they have and the needs they have to draw greater awareness to these issues and let people know how they can support them. For us, we're doing a series of our own events, everything from, again, happy hours at some of our favorite retailers, down to a bocce tournament, and really donating product to a lot of different nonprofit organizations who are hosting galas and dinners and fundraisers of all sorts to raise money for food insecurity, or to address food insecurity in America. With all these organizations and their own kind of fundraising events during the month of September, as a former nonprofit employee myself, I know the best way to raise money from donors is to get them a little liquored up. And so, we hope by donating product to a lot of these different organizations, we can help grease up their donors a little bit so that the wallets open up wider and the checks are larger in size.
Okay. And Hunger Action Month kind of leads right into the holidays, and I know you all have done a lot of great work in the last holiday season in terms of kind of beginning in September or really getting that big push going. What are the plans for this year? How do you all see addressing the food scarcity issue going into the holiday season?
So it really starts on December 3rd with Giving Tuesday. It's another big opportunity to help increase and augment the visibility for the organizations that we work with. It's a charitable time of the year. People are more amenable to hearing these kinds of pitches or opportunities. They're more eager to do good. They might be making up for a not so great year heading into the new year. And in addition to Simple Vodka, we'll be releasing some limited edition products via our website and via some of our retailers as kind of stocking stuffers and additional ways to do good. Not everyone drinks, but the issue of food insecurity is kind of widespread across all aisles, all demographics. People are interested in supporting the hungry, and so we want to have other ways where we can engage with those folks, even if they don't drink. Providing them with. I kind of got off on a tangent there.
No, it makes total sense, and I love that. To your point, there are a wide audience of people who aren't vodka drinkers or aren't drinkers in general, and if they want to give back and they want to give back to this cause in a unique way, and you guys have a beautiful bottle, I'm sure the other products will be equally beautifully designed, that there is an opportunity for them to get involved with Simple's cause in a different way.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about the 20 meals per bottle. So to date, how many meals have you all given out or distributed?
Yeah, so I think the first time we spoke was last summer. At that point, we had delivered about 250,000 meals. As of today, we are at 750,000, nice. And rapidly approaching 1 million meals. We do that, of course, at the point of production. Every drink serving we produce, we donate a meal. But we're also looking during Hunger Action Month and the rest of the holiday season to do direct fundraising via events and galas and ticket sales and whatever it might be, asking our retailers to donate a portion of the cocktail sales or bottle sales back to these organizations. And, together as a coalition, we can take a huge bite out of hunger.
Absolutely. And that's obviously a huge number, and kudos to you guys for having that success. What has been... on the opposite side of that, what has been the biggest challenge trying to do a brand that is socially responsible, but it is also obviously fiscally responsible, and not having experience in the spirits industry? What has been the biggest challenge for you all?
I think the biggest challenge has been the kind of lack of experience in the industry. I mean, we've learned a lot in the last 2.5 years that we've been around, but this is an old industry, a legacy industry, with major players that have been around for a long time. They've seen it all. They know how to handle everything. They have giant budgets. Really difficult to compete in the markets that we're in. We're in New York, Florida, and Texas. I've recently expanded into New Jersey, Louisiana, California, and adding 3 more states by the end of the year: Nevada, Minnesota, and Mississippi. But in the 3 states that we're in right now, Florida, New York, and Texas, those are 3 of the largest 4 liquor markets, and all the brands are present there, and it's difficult to compete. But kind of where we've been able to really develop traction is because of the cause. Where we have been able to have success in terms of kicking off some of our larger competitors off the shelf has really been leaning into the cause, especially for bar owners and restaurant owners, and kind of 2 competing things here. But for bar owners, they've been selling Vice and selling drinks and cocktails, and for them an opportunity to do good without changing anything they do. They're going to serve a vodka. They're going to have a vodka cocktail on the menu. We're not asking them to do anything different, and we're giving them the opportunity to do good by just sliding our product in there. And from a restaurant perspective, especially chef-owned restaurants, where I think is where we've had the best traction in terms of close rates and conversion rates. They've built their careers on providing meals to people. It's a source of fulfillment for them. And so now to be able to have a product on site that is also contributing meals back to them, again, is just a way for them to do good without really lifting much of a finger.
Absolutely. And you said you have a nonprofit background. So where has that, with this brand, helped? Obviously, it being a cause for good company.
And I very much enjoyed my time in the nonprofit world, and have continued to actually work and support dozens of other nonprofits in kind of different charitable areas. But for this company in particular, we wanted to make sure that we were holding ourselves accountable to kind of true business principles. Sometimes nonprofit falls a little bit short in terms of maximizing their potential because they're worried about keeping the lights on and they're worried about all these kinds of things. And if the fundraising doesn't go as well, then their impact is less. We didn't want our impact to be curtailed by operational issues. So for us, and I think specifically in this industry, having that social angle definitely gives us an edge, even as a smaller company. But just from a pure kind of business perspective, again, going back to the mutual exclusivity of things, we didn't feel that doing good and making a profit had to be mutually exclusive. And we're certainly not the first social business. We're certainly following the footsteps of many, many other great, kind of social good businesses, Tom's, Warby Parker, so many others. Those are just examples of kind of that one-to-one model that we're trying to champion here within Spirits.
And, it seems interesting that at the same time there seems to be the hospitality and spirits industry is also moving in it, whether it's low ABV cocktails or it's really looking at the health and wellness for their bartenders and their servers. How has that impacted, or have you all seen that, and how has Simple been able to capitalize or work within that space to kind of look at that kind of, again, that social responsibility that seems to be arising much more in the hospitality industry?
Yeah, and that's, I think where our sustainable production methods really come into play there. We're also a gluten-free product. Technically all spirits are gluten-free, but it really depends on the filtration. It really depends on the distillation process. Sometimes that comes through people who are, very gluten allergic or want to avoid those ingredients at all cost. Again, not adding sugar, kind of a healthier product. I'm not going to, say that alcohol is healthy to consume all the time. It's certainly enjoyed responsibly. But by not adding sugar, you're decreasing the chance of a headache the next day, hangover headache the next day. And really distilling vodka the way vodka is meant to be distilled from some sort of a mash. We're not taking food grade alcohol and distilling it down to vodka levels. We're distilling it the way that it should be done. And that resonates a lot with especially the kind of boutique and new age hotels that are all about kind of sustainability and farm fresh and food forward and all of that. I think our distillation process and the sustainable practices we employ there have really given us an edge, especially amongst like hotels.
Okay. So I always like to close my interviews asking the guests something that is a little adjacent or a little outside of what they do for a living. So first question I always ask is, when you're not thinking about Simple Vodka, when you're not working on Simple Vodka, what do you do? What do you do for fun? What is something that gets you out of, restores the battery, recharges you, whatever that might be?
Sure. So I also run entrepreneurship programs out of NYU.
Okay.
My first business was a co-working space. I've always been around entrepreneurs. I've always enjoyed kind of supporting them through the different obstacles within the entrepreneurial journey. And it's something that I get an immense amount of fulfillment from, helping other people troubleshoot issues or achieve on their vision, or get it from an idea to a physical product they can hold, to putting it into the market and getting other people to pay for it. I mean, each of those steps comes with thousands of mini steps, and each one is like a different puzzle, and it's something I enjoy a lot.
So you're never not working, you're never not giving back, basically.
Pretty much. I think, my wife tells me that in my sleep I'm, preparing for board meetings and stuff like that. So I mean, it's definitely no rest. There'll be rest when I retire.
Okay. And the last question is, obviously taking this 2.5-year journey, you and your partner have taken, what is a memorable moment where, sometimes people say, you've made it. Rather than that, what's been a memorable moment where you're like, this is exactly what we set out to do, or this was that, yes, this is that moment that makes all of those sleepless nights, those tough days, those, all right, did we do the wrong thing? Is there a moment that makes it all worth it that you can share with us?
So there's so many moments, so many times where, we've been at a bar opening or one of our happy hours or a concert that we might have been activating at, where we looked at each other and we're like, hey, this is pretty cool. Look what we've done. And, I think certainly once we donate, checks to these organizations or we're doing volunteer days with them, I think, the story kind of materializes around there as well. And it kind of gives me goosebumps just to see how many meals we've been able to donate with the work that we've done. But I think, one of the most memorable ones was when the bar where we had originally conceived Simple Vodka, above the 2 stools that we were sitting at, up on the wall, they said, this is where Simple Vodka was born.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
it's just, a really little touch. It's a small sign. It's something they did as like a gift to us, and just kind of on like a sandwich board type of thing. And, seeing it up there was just, and every time I see it up there, just, great memories, nostalgia, and just to see where it all started and where we are now is so impressive each time I go back to that bar. So.
Awesome. Well, Danny, thank you so much for taking out the time. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thanks for listening. This episode was produced by Cam Moore for Mookie Social. Music is by Prometheus Jackson, and I'm your host, Rashawn Hall. Make sure you follow us on social media at Bar Time Stories on Facebook and Instagram, and at Rashawn H on Twitter. Take care and cheers.